What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show as we get things rocking and rolling. I appreciate you guys. We're going to have a really good hour of conversation here regarding the markets. So, buckle up, get a Coke and a smile. All right, and we'll push through this. Record day for the market today, by the way, man. I mean, we saw an incredible new high today. For all talk about these PE ratios being the highest they've ever been in regards to the overall market, which I believe right now is at 38. Okay, this is the highest the market has ever been. We're still putting up numbers. We're still making green. And for all intents purposes, if I'm you, I'm staying long. Okay, until this thing falls apart. I'm staying long until this thing falls apart. All right, if I'm you. Okay. 1 second here as I check my stream. If I'm you. Make sure everything looks good. We got 3 people watching right now. Come into the chat room. Let me know you're here. Come into the chat room and let me know you're here. Let's put out our charts right now and get to it. Because I'm really, really interested in seeing what else is going on here. All right. I had a guy come on the stream 2 days ago, and he mentioned, whether or not Nvidia is going to go to 200. But boy, it looks very bearish, man. We were trying to get that close above 191, but today the Nasdaq didn't run. All right, today was very much for the S&P 500, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Okay, those ran really, really hard right now. All right, today, and I'm overly impressed by that. Okay, I'm overly impressed by that, so I got to give that to him. All right, got to give that to him. Let me get a sound effect. That's definitely a monster kill for them. Also, want to introduce you guys to this wonderful indicator called Super Trend. Now, I gotta get the attributes fixed on it because I see it gives some incredible signals here, but I got to make sure it doesn't repaint. All right, I got to make sure these signals actually hold. But I mean, boy, do they look good. Boy, do they look good. Okay, I got to talk to black box stocks about Super Trend as well too because this looks really, really good. Okay, using the Super Trend indicator looks really, really good. I can see guys making some good money using this indicator if it is really as good as is showing, at least on some of these repaints. What's going on, Woody Wright? Shout out to Woody Wright in the building. Thank you for coming, bro. Appreciate you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So if any of you guys are familiar with Super Trend, let me know because I had heard about the Super Trend indicator, but and just looking at it and playing around with it, it's actually quite impressive, particularly on these longer time frames. But I mean, again, who wants to hold these trades that long when you need money now? But for example, tickers like I looked at what it looked like on AMD, where it gave you a buy signal on AMD back in 2016 that lasted almost, what was that? That lasted almost 8-9 years, right, on the monthly chart. Now imagine, you're doing some call debit spreads on something like that. You're making a shitload of money. Okay, selling off a bit this last couple months, but very interesting to see. All right, so I'm going to be taking the weekend to really learn about the super trend indicator and see whether or not we can win from that. Oh, I know you guys, again, who got my download for my trading strategy. You made a killing yesterday. I know I did. Okay. You made a killing yesterday if you took that trade. All right. You made a killing yesterday if you took that trade using my trading strategy yesterday. Okay. It kind of got scary a little bit because it came, it rallied. Let me see here. Where was that? NDX 5 minute? Not yesterday. So we sold off. Like first thing in the morning, we sold off. All right, we sold off, and then it tried to. People were buying the dip because people have been trained to buy the dip. We've all been trained to buy the dip, so it is scary. All right, it is scary sometimes to, watch a stock or an index in this case sell off, and you're holding, you know, put spreads that you're hoping, or call spreads rather, you're hoping never actually come into the money. And sure enough, that whole buy the dip action starts to really pop off and it gets scary. But, the market really never rallied back. We did have a very strong rally, of course, again in the index today, but definitely not an all-time high. But boy, what a run today in NDX. Okay, which was all the more surprising because the jobs number wasn't great. Okay, the jobs number was not great. In fact, if you looked at the jobs number, we actually showed that in 2025 was the weakest job market since the pandemic. We only added 495,000 jobs for 2025. The worst since the pandemic. So we've been rallying hard, running hard on a relatively very weak job market. So when you see those videos of people telling, I can't find a job, I've put in 300 applications, 500 applications. It's true. It's really fucking true for these people, man. They really can't fucking find jobs. All right. I got 82 people here watching. Why is anybody in the chat? Or is something wrong with my chat room? Something wrong with my chat room. All right. 1 second. So I know I got a lot of people, for whatever reason, who watch me on television. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I know if you watch me on television, you can't comment. All right, you cannot comment. Let me post this on Twitter. One second, guys. All right. 1 second. I don't got my drafts. Where my drafts at? I don't got drafts in here. Schedule, emoji, drafts. All right. Okay. Let's see. We'll see if that does something. All right. Fed cutting rates for sure now. Oh, absolutely. Dave, absolutely. Shout out to Dave in the chat room. Yeah, it's a given, and that's what got a lot of people excited today. Because we did not have a very good jobs number. Shout out to Dave for that insight. Again, shout out to you for the insight, bro. It's almost a given now. It's almost a given now. That's going to help rates on borrowing, and of course that means more money, more money coming into the markets, which is never a bad thing. All right, but I definitely see us as a country. We already have massive levels of inflation, but I see more inflation becoming a problem in our future because again, man, the debt is insane, bro. The level of debt insane, and there's nowhere else to put your money. You can't put it in the bank. You can't, even real estate now is funny. You know what I'm saying? Even real estate now is a funny place to be. You know, I'm seeing guys leave comments like, posts like, "Hey, if you have $100,000, would you buy a home or put it in the S&P 500?" As of right now, you would put it in the S&P 500 because the return is far better. The return is far better. You know what I'm saying? The return is far better right now than purchasing real estate. Okay. Let me see. Let me put up gold. Yeah, I'm going to create a poll for gold. I'm going to create a poll for gold because I'm interested in seeing what traders are saying about gold. But yeah, here's another one. All right. Here's look at this. Buy signal on gold was 2016. Boy, you've done very well. Boy, you've done very, very well. Thank you, Trill K, for bringing back up gold. I would have forgot about that today if no one mentioned it. But very impressive, man. Very impressive. I still believe gold is going higher. You know, I watched the documentary by Idris Elba. If you haven't seen the documentary with Idris Elba, please watch that. He goes to a whole bunch of different countries and talks about the importance of gold. Jump on that, man. Jump on that. Find yourself some JNUG or some JDX, or I prefer, these leverage plays when it comes to exciting products like gold and silver and whatnot. And I do have ACQ as well, or AGQ, excuse me. But these are such exciting products. Again, that GDX wasn't going anywhere. JNUG was another one, wasn't going really anywhere. And JNUG is one that's really still kind of getting started. Okay, JNUG is still really wants something getting started. This could be, $700-800 again. We're talking about junior miners that are, thanks to the increase in gold prices, are actually giving these small firms very healthy margins to continue to do their business. Okay, this is a very, very, very good stock to be in. Okay, very good stock to be in. Give me some gold tickers if you have one, if you're looking at them, by the way. Okay. Looking at some stocks that other guys talked about the other day. JCI, pulled back a little bit today. Okay. What else? These quantum plays didn't really make anything happen. That was a strong pullback on QBTS. Very strong pullback on QBTS. I'm seriously looking at this stock because that run up was so sudden. And when you move up from like less than $1 to $48, now I'm starting to think you're like a pump and dump type of thing. So I'm paying attention to QBTS because I'm thinking, are these valuations even real? Are these valuations even real? You know, that's what I'm thinking. Are these valuations even real when it comes to QBTS? Or is the market being played with? Are we dealing with maybe a company that has a very small outstanding amount of shares? Okay. That's something we got to be aware of. Again, I have not looked at that in regards to QBTS. All right. God damn, SLV. SLV, yeah, give me from Flash Mitch Blum for that one. SLV is interesting because you've got a lot of people who say that there's not as much silver as there is in the vault for iShares, as much as there is on paper. You know, I'm not that deep into it to know whether or not that's true or not, but that's just hearing that made me a little scared about the product. So, you know, I'd rather go with at least a leveraged ETF to know that I'm playing with a very scary play. But with SLV, I don't know too much. I don't know too much about it. But boy, has it been very profitable. That I do know. Okay, that I do know. Among AGQ, which I have a position in. Okay, which I have a position in. All right, incredible opportunities. You know, precious metals is no longer that boring grandpa thing that used to be done across the markets. It's actually now a very exciting asset class to trade. A very exciting asset class to trade. Okay. And the proof is in the pudding. The only thing I hate about the market is that we all have limited capital, so we can't put it everywhere. Okay, we all have limited capital. We can't put it anywhere. And at the end of the day, if you want your account to grow, it can't be I have some here, I have some here, I have some here, I have some here, and you don't have it in increments that can grow your portfolio. Okay? You eventually do have to, choose a fucking product, a fucking asset class, and say, hey, I'm gonna go all in on this. Okay? I'm going to pick this and I'm gonna ride this. And as it stands, at least for the last 12 to 25 weeks, you've done very, very well in silver and in gold and in the market in general. Okay. The only thing I'm pissed off with right now is Bitcoin because that's the, I'm very disappointed in Bitcoin. But if we go out to pull back, but again, look, we've had 3 years, of gains, so let me not talk too much shit about it. Going back to that 2016 low, let me pull the chart back up. Going back to that 2016 low, and again, this is 2022 low, 22 low of 16 something, yeah. It was 16,000 something back in 2023. We've had a 3-year run up. So I mean, look, we've definitely given Bitcoin its time. Okay? We've definitely given Bitcoin its time. But looking very bearish right now, boy. And that rejection of that 94,000 level, going back to the beginning of the week was very disappointing because a lot of people thought like, oh, okay, look at that. This is accumulation and we're at the bottom. Boop. No, sir. Came right back down. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Trying to figure out why my chat is so damn quiet. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Again, I appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to start making some more videos. I think maybe not just going live, but actually making a bunch of content during the day would help out a lot. But I know some of you guys sometimes just want to sit and watch because I do go through a shitload of tickers. Okay? I never trade. I know you can make a lot of money with them, but I don't like dealing with the Greeks. I get it. That's why I trade futures. They're easier and way less stressful. Jeff, I actually ordered a futures book, and I am shamelessly downloading someone's futures course, admittedly illegally, but I'm just looking to learn. So I want to just see what that's about. I've heard about futures for so long, but I haven't played along with it. So I'm curious to see. But look, I love the leveraged aspect of it, but I know that's a double-edged sword because for as much money as you can make is as much money as you can lose. Okay. And I saw that one trader is that girl who was taught by her uncle. I can't remember her name, but she makes a shitload of money trading futures on a 4-hour time frame. You probably know who I'm talking about if I showed you her face, but very popular on YouTube. If I remember her name out, I'll drop it in the chat. But yeah, might be something again, once I get a lot more comfortable talking about, we'll definitely get more comfortable with to talk about here on the show. Because I do know there are ways to trade the Nasdaq using the futures as well. So, just looking at where the Nasdaq is and how it's ran uh, over the last several years, I can only imagine the kind of returns someone could generate, um, you know, trading the Nasdaq. Okay, Nasdaq 100, I think also, yes, available on futures. Okay, very, very impressive. Very impressive. I also followed some of those memory stocks that you guys brought up, like Western Digital and Micron. Huge day on Western Digital, 6.8% gain. 6.8% gain on that.
Supreme victory.
Thank you for bringing. That's what I love, man. When you guys bring up tickers like this, that come to the attention now of traders who may have not even been watching, including myself. Right, but now this is definitely something you'd want to sell some puts in or some deep in the money spreads, right? And just kind of let that time work in your favor as we continue to deal with that memory shortage. Okay, with that memory shortage. And if you want to talk about a memory shortage, now we had on Polymarket, okay, an article written today, actually no, yesterday. Someone put up 400,000 on a bet that China was going to invade Taiwan this year, 2026. If you think a shortage of computer parts and whatnot is bad now, imagine if China invades Taiwan. Bro, if China invades Taiwan, if you're sitting on a Pentium 3, nigga, that shit's gonna make you money. Because there ain't shit that's gonna be allowed from China in this country if they can help it. Okay? You're going to see those computers that had the turbo button being valuable again. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how scary it's going to become in terms of embargoes and all kinds of restrictions on China and all of that stuff that could happen. Okay, best believe that. Now, we never hope for that. Please believe we never hope for that, because you're going to understand that this market is going to shave off 25% if that ever happens. Automatically. Okay? Automatically, because we're talking billions of dollars lost. Because many of these corporations also have incredible amount of exposure to China. You got companies like Coke that have, nearly 20% of their company's earnings coming out of China. All right. So the effects will be, very much felt across the market. Okay. Very much felt across the markets. All right. Anyone who downloaded my trading strategy have any thoughts? If you played with it yesterday, you won. Okay, you did win. And again, it was very, very, very lucrative yesterday, and I played it to the T. Okay, I just thought maybe someone in here had played it or at least looked it over, so I can hear what you guys think. Probably should have put my name on it before I put it out there, but it wasn't fully complete. But I wanted to put at least the nuts and bolts out there to have you guys check it out and at least give me some ideas on it. I got some good feedback for some people who emailed me on it, but it's always good to hear. Can be difficult, but I know studying Nasdaq futures for a while now, and during the London session, I focus on clean bounce setups. That's pretty much all I trade, and that should be the all you trade because the buy the dip has worked. All right, the buy the dip has worked, so I don't blame you at all for that. It has worked. When you say that bounce setups, what's your time frame? I'm just kind of curious. What's your time frame? I'm just curious, Jeff. Curious of your setup on that. Thank you to all 55, 58 people in here, 50 or so. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe now. Please subscribe now. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe now. Reward me with that. Your boy's been consistent 3 days in a row this week. That's huge for me. All right. Haven't been consistent like that in almost 2 years. But again, we're energized. We're excited to get back up and running. All right. Also, press like on this video as well, too. If you can, press like on this video. You could always help me out by giving me some likes. I appreciate that. Give me some likes. Very early in the morning, around 3 a.m. Good God.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's, man. I got to give you, props for that, man. I got to give you props for that. 3 a.m. trading? Sheesh. I remember there was one time where I, thought of myself as like, yeah, I'm going to wake up early and trade the markets and I'm going to create a watch list and all that. I used to do all that shit. We used to do that on the show, create watch lists, but, it was all for naught because as you get older, as you mature, as you start to realize like, I don't really like to trade like that for real. And then I fell in love with probability and all of that other stuff. But, shout out to those people who are that person. You create watch lists. You're in front of the computer at 5, 6 a.m. in the morning to create, what you need to be profitable during the trading day. Some people need to be the trader with 15 screens. Okay. I used to be so impressed when I would see a guy's trading setup and he's got like 7 screens and it's, so impressive, screen over screen. And then this is open and that is open. And I was so impressed. And then I come to find out some of those guys are losing money, they're losing a lot of money. You can always tell, the traders who tried it because you go on Facebook Marketplace and it's always that guy who's selling, hey, here's my trading setup for sale. You know what I'm saying? You don't sell a trading setup if it's making money. You sell it because it ain't making money. You see those guys who are selling 4 monitors, they're all the same. Look into your Facebook Marketplace. They're there. All right, particularly if you live in a larger urban area. They're definitely there. Very early in the morning. Okay, yep. But it's worth it. Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. What's going on, Dre Trades? Yeah, first time alive, had to watch the replays. Can you send me that PDF? Yeah, I want you guys to check it out. I want you guys to check out that PDF because again, it's a winning strategy. Now, here's the thing that PDF is not complete because I've been able to incorporate because again, I've been buying data packages from Bloomberg. That shit is like $4.99 a month, bro. That shit is expensive. But I need this data because that shit is life changing. It pays for itself. Minute-to-minute data on the VIX, minute-to-minute data on ADSP or something like that, which is on Thinkorswim, and I'm waiting to hear back from Schwab about giving me the data for that. Thinkorswim has something called hold on, called ADNDD. The ticker is ADNDD, and basically what it is, it's the Nasdaq 100 advancing issues, so where you can track. All right, yeah, on TradingView it's like ADVQ, but it doesn't trade very well here. ADVQ, where you can track um, how good certain advancing issues actually. Hold on, it actually doesn't look too bad here, but I'm not sure how clean the data is. I'd have to pull it. You can see whether or not you know Nasdaq components are either running good or running badly. Okay, running good or running badly. God, this data. Let me see here. Probably 30-minute. Okay. And you see, that's why the data is not super clean. But as you can see here, it showed that, of course, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, this isn't as clean as. I'm looking for a good advancing issues monitor, because you can use advancing issues to, again, monitor the overall index, but it almost acts like the VIX a little bit, right? But the VIX is for the S&P 500, you know. And I've been looking for something to use for the Nasdaq to give me kind of like almost like an advanced warning thing. And the best that I found is that ticker that's only on Thinkorswim called ADNDD. ADNDD. And what I love about it is that it's like basically 0 to 100 and then 0 to 100 to the negative. And it does such a good job, man. Does such a good job. Okay. But let me give you the paperwork. All right. Here's the link. It pulls it right up. And read it and tell me what you think, Dre Trades. Read and tell me what you think. I'm only giving you guys this side of the trade because, I do plan on selling this as a package. So, I do plan on selling this as a package. I'm probably going to be selling it for at least, maybe $750 because, again, it pays for itself. And this data is very expensive. This data is very, very expensive because you can't just use that bullshit you get off, Yahoo Finance. That shit ain't going to, you can't build an algorithm off that shit. The data I bought is in order for an algorithm to be used because I'm trying to create one of those AI-based trading softwares. But anyway, it's stuff that I'm working on in the lab. All right, stuff I'm working on in the lab. But yeah, tell me what you think about that. Yeah. All right, shout out to Dre Trades. Appreciate you, bruh. Let me give you one.
Another one.
Allah Akbar. Yeah. Dropping bombs on y'all, man. That's good information. Very good information. Okay. As I mentioned again, man, let's look at the SPY one more time because I really want you guys to see like how incredible this is, man. I've been tracking the SPY, and we had been going sideways for several months. I've been trading the product, and loving it when we would find support or retrace because I knew these were support areas for us to come back to, and again looking for momentum to bounce back up. But man, this has been quite a run from the end of November. All right, quite a run from the end of November. I mean, we are up well over $45 a share in the SPY. You're talking, depending on what options you're buying. I mean, 200, 300%, depending on, how far out of the money you were. But very impressive that we are now at an all-time high, a new all-time high for the S&P 500. Yeah. This is crazy. This is crazy, bro. Because I remember you know, let me turn my super trend off, dude. I remember being, in my chair and talking about SPY at 197, 185. Like I remember these days, like right here. Like I remember the inauguration, 200, 210. This shit is crazy, man. This shit is crazy. And just to see how, like, as I get older, we were more confident with our trading, making more money. I've improved my living standard. You know what I'm saying? Thanks to the markets. Again, not rich. Please donate. I need everything I can get, because I do plan on using all donations to go back into the stream, right? I want the stream to take care of itself. But man, this is just amazing. These last 10 years have been absolutely amazing. This is the kind of shit that, like, you can't look at the past 10 years and say, trading is not where money's made, because the chart says this is where you make money. This is where you make money. Granted, I've seen my parents make a little bit of money on real estate in terms of their home, right? Nice little, they've got quite a bit of equity, but what could have happened if, somebody dropped 10 bands on AMD 10 years ago? Fuck a house. You know what I'm saying? Fuck a house. If I had $10,000 and I was that smart, you know, you could have had AMD back at $7 a share. I remember AMD at $7 a share. And we're talking AMD that's not forward split either. That's not reverse split. Okay, it is not reverse split. This is what you've seen, $7 to 203. Okay. $7 to 203. It's legit. And in the meantime, we've seen stocks disappear, right? We've seen stocks disappear on the market as well. Okay. So there's no better place for us, clearly, to put our money. I don't want to hear it. I've heard guys talk about sports gambling, and I see all those guys, sports gambling. I told you that story last Wednesday. I put up 250, right? Because my homeboy was like, hey, man, if you sign up, I'm going to get an extra 125 if I get somebody to sign up with FanDuel. So I like, okay, we're going. He's like, yeah, we both going to get 125. I'm like, okay, I don't sports bet, bro, but I'm gonna do it for you because if you really need this 125 like that, I'll do it. So I signed up for FanDuel. They dropped 250 on the account. Right? All I did was put $5 to put something in there to activate it. So I got 250 plus my little $5 bet. All right. Now, what I do know about sports betting is that when you're negative 250, that's basically almost like a 75% probability of success. Okay. This particular school I was watching, Coastal Carolina versus Louisiana Tech. Coastal Carolina was up by 2 touchdowns after the first half. I put all 250 on there because it was 255 to make like $92 or something like that, right? I put up 250 to make 90 because that's how I trade. I like to put up more than what I'm going to get back because I like high probability trades. All right? That's me. I like to win. Tell me why Louisiana Tech came back with, I think it was like 17 unanswered points. 17 unanswered straight. Literally, I made the bet, nigga. And then the Louisiana Tech just started scoring touchdowns, bro. Started scoring field goals. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Bro, I was when I saw that shit, and I watched the value of my bet basically go to zero, I said, no, I can't do no sports betting, bro. I can't do that shit. I'm going to stick to stocks because the Black-Scholes model, the percentage is the percentage. The data is clear. I have data to support that. In sports, niggas come back out of the tunnel and they lazy. They don't want to close out the game. They don't want to leave it out on the field. You know what I'm saying? I can't put my faith in that. I can't put my faith in a motherfucker who's, got his uncle somewhere betting 10,000 against him and telling him to miss shots and shit like that. So I commend all you guys who trade, who do sports betting, but damn, I can't depend on people like that, man. So more power to you guys who can depend on players to follow through. Shout out to you. Real talk. Shout out to you.
Supreme victory.
Yeah. I'll give you that. But we're going to follow this market to the next high. We're going to follow the SPY all the way to 700, all the way to 700 and beyond. This motherfucker's going to 850. It's going to 1,000. Can you imagine the SPY at 1,000? Can you imagine the SPY at 1,000? You're going to see that in your lifetime. Okay? I can see the SPY hitting 1,000 in the next 36, maybe 36 months it might be a little bit too much. But in the next 48 months, I can definitely see that 1,000. And think about that for a second. We can see the SPY $300 a share more within 48 months. Within 48 months. Think about that. Think about how amazing that is. Absolutely incredible, man. Absolutely incredible. Don't be a scared trader. If there's anything I've learned over the last 10 years, don't be scared, man. Fear making dumb mistakes. Fear that for sure. But don't be scared to put the money to work. Fear dumb mistakes. Fear greed. Fear your incompetence. Fear your unwillingness to do the research, to do the homework. Fear that. But never fear putting the money in the market. Never fear the idea that this is the best place to put that money. Because there ain't nowhere else to go, my nigga. There's nowhere else to go. What you going to do? You going to start a business, a brick and mortar? You going to deal with employees? You're going to go apply for a license? Buy insurance? You know what I'm saying? The amount of time you put into that, bro, you put 4 or 5 hours a week in this. Now you don't even have the liabilities. You don't even have the stress. We got motherfuckers out here building robots and stuff that's going to take away your job. There's not going to be anything else besides the commodification of all kinds of entertainment and gambling. They need to have it. They need to have it, man. The algo's going algo, bro. They running this shit up no matter what. Don't fight it. Absolutely, I agree. I agree. You know what I'm saying? Funk Fast Effect about for you, bro. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Let's see somebody. And I saw Blackstone. Which is really interesting because I would think this would be $1 trillion company, being that they've got, damn near $1 trillion under management. The best and brightest in finance are at Blackstone, but yet This company is worth what, $190 billion market cap. I would think maybe it'd be double. You know, I would think it'd be somewhere. What is that? 197. Where's Citigroup? What's Bank of America's market cap? Yeah, where Bank of America. Bank of America's got a $400 billion market cap. I'm thinking it'd be somewhere up there. Shout out to Bank of America too. Been doing good since you know since 2024. Boy, Bank of America looking real good. New all time high for Bank of America last 2 months. Shout out to Bank of America. Okay, shout out to Bank of America. TNA stocks, space, silver have been amazing. Sometimes we got to focus on a few trades, not all of them. Yeah, and I agree. I said that earlier. Like, that's the trader's dilemma, is the fact that we have limited capital. We have limited capital. I'm not, focused on anything right now besides precious metals and the indices, which is the Nasdaq. In fact, if you look at my, um, if you look at, forgot what it's called, but for when you post on YouTube, that image you got to put up for the video, it's the Nasdaq, because that's all I'm focused on right now. Shout out to the S&P 500. I love that too, but I'm going where the money is. The money's in the Nasdaq. Jeff was talking about it like this. You can't lose. Can't lose right now. And again, that trading strategy is me preparing for when it goes, you know, to the other side. Because when the Nasdaq does sell off, boy, is it very, 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 very lucrative. One thing I do respect about the Nasdaq is when there's a pullback, it's a deserved pullback. It's a deserved pullback. It's been running so hard. All these stocks have made so much money. It's well deserved. You know, it's well deserved. Very rarely will you see the Nasdaq sell off 1% and then rally all the way back to green. It does happen. All right, I have data to show that it has happened. Okay, Trump drops a tweet. Something happens in the world or whatever, and it has happened. Okay, but for the most part, when the Nasdaq does sell off, it's a well earned sell off, and that is a very lucrative opportunity for traders who have a little bit patience to find uh, that they will make a lot of money if they're willing just to be a little bit patient through, some profit taking, some profit taking. Thumbnail, thank you. Thumbnail, Blue Cousin. That's what I meant. Yeah, thumbnail. All right. That's exactly what I meant. Thumbnail. Okay. Shout out to that. I want to use this. I don't have that gay dude in the chat room today, but I wanted to.
Get out of here, you damn nigger!
I wanted to use that because I was waiting on him.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Yeah. I wanted to use that on him, but he'll be back. He'll be back. All right. Thumbnail. Okay. What for everyone else, like Life for a Business or Dave, what are you guys trading right now? I just told you guys what I'm focused on. All right. Selling debit spreads, or I'm holding out of the money debit spreads in GLD, AGQ, all of that. That's kind of where I'm really in GLD right now. I'm selling, as I mentioned, the 350 calls. 350 calls going out to May of this year in GLD because we're not going back below 300 on GLD anytime soon. I really believe that. The way this administration is spending money, the way this man came out and said that he wants to increase the defense budget by several $billions after The Pentagon has failed every single fucking audit it has ever had since the 1970s. Okay? That we are basically printing money and sending it to the ether. Right? Well, we've got these Somalis out here taking money. They're not even going to jail for it. If nobody goes to jail for what's going on in Minnesota right now, that's all the proof you need that this shit is corrupt, bro. If nobody goes to jail for that shit, your boy just took a deal. He just took the deal. He's like, oh, okay, I'm not going to run again. He was set to win re-election. Go look at the old polls that are still. He was set to win re-election very easily. The man just took a deal, said, oh, okay, shit, I'm out. And he will not be prosecuted. I don't think so at all. Because he took the deal. They went to him. I don't have no doubt in my mind. They went to him and said, look, bro, this is what we got. You can try to fight for re-election, or we're going to come after you for this. Or you can walk away now. And he took the deal. And he'll go into private enterprise and write a book or end up on Wall Street somewhere, like all these old politicians do, and he'll make his money. You know? Is there an up-and-coming stock you are buying like QS, SATS, or RXRX? Long-term buy for each tech that is not yet profitable? I don't have anyone that's like not yet profitable type. I'm looking at RTX. I'm watching RTX. I think this is a stock that in all intents purposes is very, very cheap. Okay. Is that what happened to? Yes, Galdino Gold. Okay. Galliano Gold, okay, is a company that, if you look at the financials, okay, it's gotten better due to the increasing price of gold. It's a very small gold company. I think this could be a $10 stock. I really believe this could be a $10 stock. And it's looking really, really good. This is something that I think if you drop $1,000 in it and you understand the space, you understand what increasing margins do for small developing companies, it makes sense for you to go long here. Okay, it makes sense for you to go long here. I love GAU. I love GAU. Now you mentioned tech. I don't have like a small tech company that I'm really in love with right now. But boy, do I love GAU. I do love GAU. Okay, I love these small companies that I believe are going to, and again, trading very, very well. And it had an awesome 2024, a stock that was, below 50 cents a share. Okay, below 50 cents a share, now trading, attempting to hit $3 here. So, and this could be a $10 stock. Really believe that. Okay, but I'll definitely have a list for you guys for tech in particular, because although I'm following the indices in particular when it comes to the tech space, the individual names are important, and I do need to be focused on that. So you dropped everything and do Bitcoin and Tesla covered calls, selling weeklies on them. Okay. Yeah, Tesla's been good too. They're highly profitable. SpaceX division. All right. They had incredible deliveries recently that they announced. All right. I love Teslas. I think they do have to fix that door design. That does scare me about Teslas. Because, bro, if you're in an accident in a Tesla, that door is boy, I'm telling you, That door mechanism. They need to fix that door mechanism. Just create a regular fucking door. All right? Enough with the whole like automated thing. Like create a regular fucking door that's going to, save people's lives in the long run. I don't need everything to be fucking a gadget. Okay? I don't understand why that issue can't just be fixed. Make a regular fucking doorknob. I don't mind computers and everything else. Okay? A Tesla is basically a fucking computer. That's why they they lose so much value so quickly. You are buying a computer. That's literally what you're buying. Okay? Go see those 2013, 2014 Teslas that are on C lots now. Never have I imagined you would see a Tesla on a buy here, pay here lot. But you're seeing Teslas show up on buy here, pay here lots. They don't have the new stuff. All right, these are definitely older Teslas with some miles on it. And these batteries have definitely been, put through the ringer. But you're seeing Teslas on buy here, pay here lots, man. RIP to the wallet of whoever ends up buying something like that, because that insurance is not going to be cheap, particularly if you have a bad driving record or you have bad credit. You have bad credit, a bad driving record. You're on one of these buy here, pay here lots or something like that. You pick up that, you're already paying a crazy note, right? Because they're going to take advantage of the fact that you really don't have much, options. And then you're dumb enough to go get a car that has a battery that probably has less than 1,000 cycles left in it. Okay. And then you're definitely going to get fucked over by these insurance companies. Said, yeah, I hear those batteries are like 15. Yeah, we're not talking about, the Toyota Echo here or something like that. What's the Toyota Prius where you can go buy a Prius battery for $3,500? You can buy a Prius battery. Here's how incredible Toyota is. Toyota is so good. The Prius batteries can actually be like rebuilt. You have companies out there that literally focus on rebuilt Prius batteries, where you can go buy a rebuilt Prius battery for like $3,000. You got some companies that just they're just common sense. That's why Toyota will never be like, I will never look down on anybody who drives a Toyota, because you're a smart motherfucker if you drive a Toyota. To me, you're a very smart motherfucker. You drive through these neighborhoods of $1 million homes, you see more Toyotas than you do Bentleys and Ferraris and all of that. You see a lot of modern Toyotas in 2025, 2020, because they know quality. These people, they say, okay, what makes sense for me and my family? Not saying they don't drive Teslas, but, hey, but I digress. Well, one quick thought about that too. I didn't realize Teslas were sense of, for Indian people, they're like a sign of wealth. I didn't know that. Indian people see Teslas as like a sign you've made it in America. Did you guys know that? If you're from India and you come to America and you get a tech job and you buy a Tesla, that's like a sign you made it. It's a sign of accomplishment. It's like a sign of wealth, as I mentioned earlier. They love that shit. Indian people, my God, you go to a Tesla dealership on a Saturday, it's just a bunch of Indians. It looks like fucking Punjab, India in there. Punjabistan. I need to get me an Indian sound effect. I love me. I need to get me one of those. Well, I'll use the Arab one for now.
Allahu Akbar!
I need to get me an Indian sound effect though. Y'all know how y'all be doing that shit, man. You think the market is toppy and we need at least a pullback to deploy any long term? Oh, absolutely. It's in due time. It's coming. It's coming, bro. I mean, but yes, it's toppy. It's very toppy, bro. The market is at 38 times, 38 PE. All right. It's the most expensive market we've ever had. But we've had pullbacks damn near every year. We just had one back in April that had people second guessing. But look at that. That was a buying opportunity in hindsight. So whenever it does happen, man, look, we putting capital to work. We putting capital to work. So let it happen. But what I would hate for you to see is we go another 2 months and we get, a red day here or there, but you don't get, the 7 to 15% that you're probably talking about. You don't get that for another 2 months. Then what? Look how much money you've lost out on. Look how much money you've lost out on. This is how I know I'm improving, because this girl just emailed me. She's trying to throw some cheeks on me, but I'm gonna turn her down. These women just be looking for, some gas money or somewhere to lay their head because they want to get out their mama house for the weekend. They want to get out their mama house for the weekend, so they just start sending messages. And I'm just over it, man. I'm over having just random trysts with a bunch of women. And just because it's just getting played out, bro. Taking these women out to eat and it's crazy, bro, because you take a woman who makes $14 an hour. This girl can't take herself to Ruby Tuesdays to save her life, right? And then still got the nerve to give me mouth. Still got the nerve to talk back. And I just be looking like, bro, the shit I do for you, you cannot do for yourself. How the fuck are you in my place complaining about some shit? You know what I'm saying? I just get tired of these. I just get tired of it, bro. So I'm at the point where, man, I'm about to find me. I already know a shorty I'm going to ask. I'm like, yo, look, let's. I'm gonna keep 100 with you. I'm gonna keep the phone unlocked. I'm gonna delete the messages. I'm gonna change the number. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go legit, man. I'm ready to go legit. Because she's been trying to get me to do that for a long time. And she's a good person. But I'm ready to go legit, man. Because this shit is like one girl here, one girl there. I hang out with her this week. I hang out with her. I mean, you get nice, the different variety of body types, but you still feel left kind of empty. You still feel left kind of empty. These women don't really satisfy you after a certain period of time. And maybe that's just me getting to my 40s here in 3 years, that it's time to move on, man. It's time to move on. I done clapped the biggest cheeks to women who look like 1993 Somalia, bro. I done clap South Africans. I done clap like women who look like, damn near donkeys. I'm thinking like, your mama had to be a fucking donkey. How does your ass look like that? Your mama had to be a donkey. You know what I'm saying? Been there, done that. Been there, done that. Just keeping it real, man. TMI, but keeping it real. If you're a new subscriber, please go ahead. If you're a new follower, a new watcher, please go ahead and click subscribe on this video right now. I got a bunch of people watching, but Let me get some likes on this video. Let me get some likes on this video. If you're listening to my voice, like my video. I appreciate it. Let me get some likes on this video. I got a new mic coming too this weekend, so we're gonna have a new mic. So I'm gonna get rid of this fucking headset. Audio will still be clean and good, so that there's nothing to worry about. But yeah, I've already been on now, guys, for over an hour, so I appreciate you guys joining me. We're gonna have a list of stocks, but look out for some videos for me to post on individual stocks this weekend as I put out contact on individual stocks. The only thing I hate about that is that, those are stocks that sometimes not every guy is trading, but I'll stick to the big names, the Microsofts, the Nvidias, to the stuff that you guys would be interested in. And of course, I'll put out 2 or 3 feelers, right? As I mentioned, the GAU, right? Small company that the price of gold is making a big difference to their bottom line right now. And again, could be a $10 stock. All right. Where's Micron at? I forgot the MU. I forgot what the ticker was for that. Good God, MU, just fucking, bro. I've been looking for an in on this. If I could just get them to pull back a little bit, even to 290, bro. Can I get fucking 290 on this shit? Fuck. And I missed this move right here in Micron. I was looking right at the fucking stock, bro. I was looking fucking at it. I'm like, oh, look at the pullback. This would be a great entry. And I just let it get away from me, bro. I remember just like yesterday, looking at MU. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a position here. I'm going to sell those 180 puts or whatever. And Christmas, and people started calling, what you about to do for the holidays, and a nigga forgot, man. Ridiculous.
Oh my God!
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. We had a really good conversation. All right, really good conversation. This is just cementing the fact that we live in the greatest country in the world. Yes, we've got problems, but boy, man, there's nowhere else to be right now. There's nowhere else to be to make the kind of money you want to make than right here in the United States of America, man. Of course, we could all use more capital to be able to make bigger trades and bigger bets, but enjoy what you have now. Be grateful for what you have now. Be grateful for every dollar, every gain. Bro, I still take $25 gains, bro. Sometimes when I just feel like it's not going anywhere, I took a $25 gain like last week because it was just a stock I didn't know. I didn't really, it wasn't doing anything. It's like, okay, I'm up $25. Fuck it. I'll just sell it. That's how grateful I am to the market. The fact that, like, I get a profit, period. Understand how lucky you are that you're just getting a profit. Because there's so many traders who are every single day starting this game, and they've got to put up the years of losses. They've got to put up, the years of dealing with overtrading, dealing with greed. Okay? It's almost like a Ponzi scheme, bro. It's guys like us who've been putting in the sweat and tears. Now you're getting some consistency, and behind you is a guy who's just starting out, and he's got $300, $5,000, $10,000, and he's going to go to zero. So I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful to have access to this game. I'm grateful to be in no other country but this where I could play this, because You somewhere in fucking Zimbabwe or Iran where you can't even move money if you live in Iran. You live in North Korea. You live in China. You got to deal with some of these Chinese brokers that literally like get a call from the government just to hold your money. They don't even tell you nothing. Oh yeah, we got this call from somewhere, and we're holding your money. You know, you don't get access to markets with this kind of transparency if you live in Djibouti, right? Algeria, Chile. You know, so I'm happy to be here with all the problems we have. I'm fucking happy to be here, man.
Another one.
Punch the next bomb. I just had to put that out there. I had to put that out there. Thank you to all the people watching. Would you believe that I've been watching your videos for about 10 years now? Great to see us still hustling. God damn, really? Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. 10 years?
Get out of here!
Oh, no, that's my bad. That wasn't the sound effect I meant. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. Let me give you another one, man. Shout out to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you. All right? A monster kill for you.
Monster kill.
Monster kill to you, bro. I'm so grateful for every single one of you guys. There are people who are on YouTube every fucking day, man, and don't get 10 views. Don't get 20 views. And here I am getting, what is it? I don't even know how many people I have in here right now. 18 people. All right, 15 people. I had as much as like 80 or 70 at one time. Like, bro, can you imagine opening up your door and 15 people walk in just to hear you speak? I'm grateful, bro. I'm grateful to come back after this long of a hiatus and 15 people still walk into my house to hear me say some shit. Grateful, bro. Gratitude 1,000. Gratitude 1,000, man. Gratitude 1,000. I can only imagine, where it could be again if I'm consistent for a year or 2 or 3 years from now. So just got to keep putting in the work and putting in the work that, on all honest purposes, I had been running from. Shout out to Ed and Kevin at Black Box. Right? I called them up last week and I was like, look, I'm ready to start going live again. I really want to, have the numbers we kind of talked about where, I get a sale and this is what I earn. I want to get back to that. This is what I think I can do. It'll take a little bit of time. And they were like, man, we love what you did for us. We wouldn't even be, 8 years in if it wasn't for you. And that's what they told me. They literally told me, like, we wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for, the nearly 1,000 people that I brought to that company because they were tattering. They were tattering. It was literally like, are we going to survive? And sure enough, all of that liquidity came in, and it saved the company. It saved the company. So I'm so proud of them, and I thank them for allowing me to promote the company again. What they've done in the last 4 years since COVID, man, it speaks for themselves. They got a NASCAR team. They got some guy who's wearing their shirt playing golf. They sponsor some basketball team out in Asia. They're wearing the Black Box jersey. Like, awesome, man. Awesome. You should do a similar thing with Option Alpha. I'll reach out to him, if he wants to, help a brother out and give a brother a discount. Let a brother have a free software. You got to understand, Black Box has given me the software free for the last 5 years. I've never paid $1 to promote their software. And they were showing love to me even when I wasn't streaming. Granted, my links were still making them money, right? But the fact that they still give me access and I wasn't even streaming live anymore, giving me access to a $250 a month product, and I wasn't doing my part. I fucks with you. You know, I fucks with you. And I owe them back that time. I owe them back a lot. And I'm gonna do right by them for sure. For sure. They completely changed their whole platform since I had a legacy cloud back to where they were just an educational site. Okay. Membership was free. Yeah, I want to reach out to Option Alpha and see what they're talking about. I love their videos. Their videos are always good. You know, evergreen videos, you know, how to do this, how to do that. What is this? What is that? You know, it takes a lot of time to make videos like that. You know, and then you got, of course, people in the comments telling you, that's not right. This is not right. That's, you know, but just to push through and build that brand. And it looks like he's done very well for himself. So as long as it doesn't conflict with what I got going on in Black Box, because Black Box is the OG, you know what I'm saying? I'm always going to do right by the OG, you know? So they come first by all means. They come first by all means. All right, and what they got going on in Black Box now is just, bruh, it's amazing. You know, this company was talking about AI before AI was even like a term. You know, and that's how crazy like of a run we've been on here. If you guys been watching the show, we were talking about AI before motherfuckers was talking about it. You know, that's crazy, bro. So we just got to continue to stay in front of the technology and you know, what is that? Oh, okay. I think they went out of business. They had a OTC drone stock that I'd always watch, but we don't have any drone companies anymore on the exchange. That's crazy. There's no drone companies? There's usually always got to be one of those like, yeah, we're drone tech. We're drone this. If anybody knows a pure play drone stock, let me know. I'm surprised we don't have any pure play drones plays anymore. We used to have pure play drone plays. We used to have pure play battery charging station plays. Maybe I'm just off the top of my dome, can't remember them, but we used to have those kind of plays on the market. I've completely forgot about that. All right, I feel myself rambling now, so I'm going to get off because you know I turned this into a damn 6-hour stream. But again, thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you guys so much. Great show. Yeah. I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy your families. Whatever it is you plan to do, definitely study the markets. We'll be looking forward to another great week ahead as we go into Martin Luther King week. Looking to see if, we see some profit taking next week into the long weekend, or we continue this incredible run up, man. And up and away. All right. So I'll see you guys this weekend. I'll be putting out some videos. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Okay? I appreciate that. Yes, indeed. Bring it back. The old school ones. Yeah, those are really old school. Bring a Friday show. Yeah, the Friday shows. We're going to get there. Once we build back the chat room, we'll get back to the Friday shows, the chicken and beer shows. We'll bring back the chicken and beer episodes, you know what I'm saying? But let's build, let's build up the consistency, which, again, I pat myself on the back, No fuck nigga shit. Fuck nigga free this week, man. I'm proud of myself. I was very much fuck nigga free. And I showed up when I had to show up, and I'm proud of myself for that. Real talk,
Supreme victory.
Yeah, supreme victory to me for that. It's a pre-victory for me for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, get out of here. Enjoy your Friday. Look out for some of my videos this weekend. See you back here Monday night. Monday night, see you back here Monday